Hi, Donna Schwartz here. In this video I'm going to be talking about proper slide maintenance for the trombone. So I'm just going to take apart the trombone for right now. We're going to be dealing with the slide, so I don't need the bell. There's two parts of the slide. There's the outer slide and the inner slide. Now, really very important, what makes the trombone, just like what makes the trumpet is the valves, what makes the trombone is the slide. And if the slide feels sluggish or like jerky when you're moving it back and forth, you need to take more care of it. For beginners, what I recommend is using valve or slide oil. I usually recommend for my beginners to use the Alcas brand. And it's, it's trumpet valve oil, it's trombone slide oil, it could be key oil. This stuff is really good, it's cheap, you can get it just about everywhere. So what I'm going to say in the very beginning will apply to beginners and to advanced players. So the first thing you do is really carefully take the inner slide out of the outer slide. I'm going to carefully place the outer slide down on a flat surface. I've got a stool here, you can use a table or a chair or whatever. Now you've got to be super careful with this inner slide. If you dent it, it's going to affect your sound. It will also affect the action inside the outer slide, and then you're going to have a lot of difficulty moving from one note to the other. Now, with both methods, whether you're a beginner or advanced person, the first thing that you need to do is get a clean cloth. You can get a clean rag, that's perfectly fine. You can get an old t-shirt, cut it up, just make sure that it's clean, and just carefully wipe off the excess, whether you're a beginner, whether it's the oil, or if you're an advanced person, it may be slide cream. So I'm just going to carefully wipe this off. And sometimes you're going to get some strange colors coming out, like greens and browns. Oh yeah. Okay, now I'm not going to apply oil. I will tell you how to do that. I tend to use trombone slide cream. It's better off for your slide, and more advanced players tend to use the slide cream. So I want to show you using that first, and then I'll talk you through the oil. I use the brand Super Slick, okay? And the brand says what it is. This stuff is really great. All you do, after you wiped off the slide, you wiped off the old cream from the slide, you take a little dab, I really do mean a little dab, with your index finger of this cream. And the very end of the slide, this is past the 7th position, you can see a little bump there. You apply the cream and you just kind of massage it in from the bump all the way to the end of the slide. And you're going to do this for each slide. Now this is my trombone. I'm a little embarrassed that the green colors came out in the rag. That's not good. But this slide definitely needed some cream. And again, just a little bit of a dab. I mean, you could barely see it, okay? It almost looks like butter. It's not. Don't put this near your mouth either. Okay, so again, just going from the bump of the slide all the way to the end and massaging it in, being really careful not to, damage the inner slide, bang it in any way. Okay. Now, with a clean part of the rag, just wipe your finger off. Normally, I say just wipe your hand on your pants, but you know what? I don't think your mom or dad will be happy about that. Okay. Now, I'm going to take the outer slide with the water key facing downward, and I'm going to carefully put the inner slide back in. So you just put the bottom one in kind of first, line it up, get the top one in. And what you're going to do is just move the slide up and down. I'm distributing the cream all over the other part of the inner slide, but also I'm putting the cream on the inside of the outer slide, if you could picture that. So I'm just going to do this for like 10 to 20 seconds. Now this is feeling so much better. Okay, but I'm not done yet. Here's where the tricky, not the tricky part, but the weird part. You're going to think I'm a little weird. I'm going to take the outer slide out again. Carefully place it down. You don't want to damage the outer slide either, because especially if the inner slide, if it's attached to the inner slide, because any dents, you're going to have a hard time moving that slide, and that's going to affect the transition from note to note. Okay, take another clean part of the rag, the part that's not green. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wipe the cream off. I'm not going to wipe hard though. I'm going to lightly wipe off the cream so that I'm just barely touching the inner slide. Thinking, why is she wiping off what she just put on? Well, here's the thing. Whether you're dealing with trumpet valves, baritone valves, tuba valves, trombone slides, too little or too much is just as bad as too little. So too much cream is just as bad as too little. You don't want it to accumulate. You get too much stuff. There's not enough space in between this inner slide and the outer slide. So you want to make sure that you don't put too much on. And I already distributed the cream on the inside of the outer slide, so you're good to go. Now this is moving pretty well, but I'm going to make it even better. The thing that really helps to lubricate the slide when you're playing is water. So you see trombonists with little spray bottles of water. Now this is the thing. I don't recommend for beginners to use this method that I'm showing you because I want to avoid the water fights that may happen, okay? So this is more for more responsible or more advanced players. Some of my more serious 4th and 5th graders, I will show this to because I feel that they can handle it. Now, what I do with the water, I just lift up the slide a little bit and I spray, not too much, using the spray bottle. Now that's really smooth. That's really great, okay? And there's my slide. For beginners, like I mentioned before, I'd have you use something like Alcast slide oil. All you would do, I don't want to open this up because the one thing is oil and water don't mix, so I don't want to combine the two. That's why I'm not showing you that way. What I would do is I would take 1 drop of the, after I cleaned off the inner slide with my rag, and then I put the slide, the outer slide back in to the inner slide, I take 1 drop of the valve oil, put 1 drop here, let it run down, put 1 drop here, let it run down, put 1 drop here, let it run down, put another drop here, let it run down. And then what I would do with the oil on the slide, I would just move it up and down. And that would be, that would be good enough to go. So for beginners, I'm making it easier for you, just use the slide oil. The one thing to keep in mind to really make your slide work, if you're using the oil, make sure at least once a week that you should wipe off all the old oil. Again, too much is just as bad as too little. So too much oil in here is going to really make this sluggish. With the slide cream, depending on how much you play, some people can get away with using the slide cream once every few weeks. But people that play a lot, like professionals, will probably wind up using the slide cream at least once a week, if not more than that. If you're using the slide cream plus the spray bottle, again, depending on how long you're playing for each session, you start off by spraying a few times on each slide, on each part of the slide, and then, 30 minutes later you may need to spray it again. It's going to depend on how good your slide is and how much you're playing. I'm going to be listing some resources in a PDF below this video, and I'm listing the step-by-step process for taking care of your trombone slide. And that's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of the other videos on my website. I also have a portion of my website that has video lessons where I teach beginners from the very beginning how to play their instruments. I'm focusing on trumpet and saxophone, but if people are interested in me teaching them other instruments like flute, clarinet, I can certainly do that upon request. And you can reach me at my email address listed on my website. So again, if you like this video, share it, like it on YouTube, spread it around. Check out my weekly blog under Donna's blog. No fancy titles there. You'll get a lot of information. I profile all the instruments and I talk about other topics that are relevant to young band instrumentalists. On that note, have a great day.